Hello and welcome to the Inner Space Covent Garden talk. Our talk today is the art of slowing down. From the moment you wake up all the way to bedtime, what's the speed of your life? Fast? Busy? Are you rushing, trying to fit in as much as almost inhumanly possible into your day? What is the feeling that you have? Are you always looking at an answer in a conversation before the other person's even finished saying what they need to say? Are you already thinking about the next thing to do, even though you're only halfway through doing what you're doing? Well, if you want to be less stressed, more serene, less hectic, happier, perhaps less edgy, and more effective, slow down. Slow down to live more mindfully, intentionally, and reclaim your time and energy to accomplish more. We've asked our speaker to explore the virtue and the art of slowing down. Marta has worked in the international trade, human resources, and as a translator. She's based in Barcelona and is a member of the Brahma Kumaris national coordinating team in Spain. Marta is going to be sharing with us for the next 40 minutes or so, and then she'll do a guided meditation which will allow some of the thoughts that you've heard to filter through and sink deeply. After that, she'll be taking your questions. So please send in your questions via the question and answer link or via the chat, and it will be my pleasure to put those questions to Marta on your behalf. Marta, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to share with you. And I want to share with you something that I've been experiencing this last week. Thinking about today and this sharing about slowing down, I went into deep practice of this, and this is what I would like to share with you. Because being quite an active person and someone that I had to pay attention to walk in a different way, because everyone was saying you walk so fast, you speak so fast, you do this so fast. Then when I realized about this culture long back, about the slowing down, I thought, okay, this is for me. And I need to do something to have a different way of living. And meditation has been a very good tool for me to slow down in many, many, many different ways. Because I've realized that if I personally don't slow down, then life will make me slow down. Long back, it was about 15 years back, I broke my foot. And that was something that, yes, I had to stop. And I read between the lines, what was the meaning of that fall I had? And it was so good that that happened, really. I had the time, and I gave me the time to write. I like journaling. I like contemplating, and I like doing things, and I like connecting with people. And I kept doing all that, but in a different mood. And that in total was about 6 months, 3 of them fully on a wheelchair and then in a different ways. But totally it was about 6 months that I had to pay attention to that. And when I remember that, I remember that that gave me a different mindset. And if I don't do that willingly, life will stop me. And I'm sure that some of you that are listening now or that will listen in the future, you will have had that experience that because of an accident or because of a severe illness or different ways, that things that can happen to slow you down, yes or yes. And so when you have that chance, then you can see how everything is different. And the most important thing is the mindset. The mindset is a different one. And when I'm saying this is that, as I was saying with you, that these last few days I've been practicing this, I've made different lists of things that were of benefit to me, connected to the self, connected with others, connected with life, in relationship with the time, my relationship with time. So what I'm going to share with you are the benefits that I've experienced being aware of this and practicing this in these last few days. What I could feel was I am more connected from the inside. When I keep doing, I'm connected with whatever is surrounding me. And then I forget about myself. I may pay attention about the opinions of the others. I may pay attention of whatever happens around me, but then I forget about myself. How is it? And it's quite often that we may forget about ourselves, paying more attention to different actions or our job or relationships. So this looking inside and slowing down is allowing me to see different parts of me, to see what are the weaknesses, what are the strengths, things that I may need to pay more attention to. I'm seeing how when I slow down in my thinking, then I have less thoughts in 1 minute, for example. And the thoughts I have are more full of energy. And it's a way of accumulating energy. We are using up all our energy. Don't you have the feeling sometimes that you just go to bed so exhausted? And you may not have done something to be so exhausted, but it's because the way you think that is draining our physical energy even. So that's important to know the ways where my energy just goes out. When I connect with me from this slowing down, I can see that there is more space in my mind to think what I want to think. And this may be a different concept for some of you, because as someone said to me quite recently, she said, no, the thoughts come to me. And I said, but don't you think you are the one creating the thoughts? And she insisted, no, the thoughts just come to me. And I said, but you are the one that can even decide what to think, how to think. See about this. How can this have a meaning in your life? So from this going inside, from this empty space in my mind, then from there, I could call it like an expansion of more ideas, of having more time. And it seemed like the opposite of what I just said, because not to think much and now to have more ideas. But the ideas I have when I slow down are ideas that can be more easily implemented. Ideas that perhaps I never ever would have thought of. Like yesterday, I had an idea of something that I could do that I never thought about it. And I was so happy of thinking about that. But that only came because of that inner attention I was paying to myself. And I'm quite sure that if I slow down, when I go to bed, I will have a better sleep. So many people are taking pills to be able to sleep at night. And I'm quite sure that one of the reasons, there may be many reasons, but one of the reasons is to think too much, to keep going and going with the same thoughts, why this has happened and why that person said that to me. And again, this thought and that thought is not allowing me to have better sleep. So when I slow down even to achieve that, which is very, very important, because when we sleep is when the cells in our body regenerate. So that's very important. And see, when you prepare your tea, something very practical, when you prepare your tea, you allow that tea to be in the water for some minutes, right? And you acknowledge that if you want a good tea, you need that time for the tea to be ready. I'm not a tea person, I'm more a coffee person. When I prepare my coffee, one of those machines to prepare a good coffee, I have to wait. And if I say to the coffee machine, please, I am in a hurry, the coffee will take its time to go up. So if I accept that those things take time, or if I grow some seeds, I can just not be there saying, grow, grow, I want and I need these flowers for next week. It's silly to think like this, right? So I have that patience, and I know that there are some rhythms in nature that need to be followed. Why not with me? For example, if we see the processes in nature all take time. Only after 9 months, the baby is there, right? And we accept that, and we know that it's good that takes so long. So if I accept that nature has its own rhythm, then do I acknowledge that I myself, I also have my own rhythm? And it's important to reach to this point and perhaps just be quiet and silent, acknowledge which is my own, and my rhythm will have nothing to do with another person's rhythm. And I cannot expect that person to be as quick or the same speed as I have. Because if I accept that, then everything, all the connections with that person will be different. So many realizations I've had that I would like you, and perhaps you are also practicing this, and then you will also be able to know about these benefits for yourself, because one thing is the theory, but another thing is when you take your time to practice. Because when I slow down in that openness I was expressing before, I see how I am more open to learn. If I'm focused in action, then my inner attitude is that I already know. I know this, I know that, I know where to buy this, where to get that. I know, and I may know it. But why not just to be open to see other possibilities? When I go inside in that different slow mood, then from there, I can just see what normally I don't even see. So it's quite refreshing for the mind, refreshing for the brain, for the body. And I want to talk about patience. Patience, you know, in Spanish, it comes from Latin language. Paciencia is in Spanish. Paciencia means peace and science. Paz means peace. Ciencia is science. Look how important it is. So patience is the science of peace. When peace becomes science, that's patience. If I don't have patience, I will not be able to take my coffee, right? Or my tea or anything. So only when I slow down, I connect with the science of peace, which is inside. And then I will value more what it has to do with the quality rather than the quantity. If I just want to get things fast and faster and more fast, and if I can get 10 things done, why I only will take one thing done? And if I go underneath under this thought, I will see that it's not about the number of things I do, but with my needs to feel valued for what I do. If I am more valued, or I feel more valued myself, when my agenda is full of things and I can just say, tick, 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 I've done all this, I'm really happy because I'm good, I'm valued, and this is it. But perhaps all those 20 things were not all of them that important to happen today. Perhaps today there is a friend of me that is there and is struggling, and perhaps that person is phoning me and I'm not paying attention, and it's just a 1-minute conversation because I have so many important things to do. I'm not saying that they are not important, but there are some instances when things just come to me and that becomes the most important thing to do at that moment. To see this, I can only see this when I slow down and when I see, okay, what is important now? Just let me pay attention to that person. Yes? And seeing this inner speed, inner rhythm, I will find synchronicity. Synchronicity is where the time I'm living inside and the time outside are at the same moment. I will explain this more. The perception of time is called kairos. This is a Greek word. Kairos is how do I perceive time? Why is it that a minute sometimes seems so long, and sometimes it's just, oh, 1 minute has gone by? Yes. Why is it? And it may be 1 hour or 1 day. Why is it that the perception I have of time, it's not always the same? It has to do with what I feel, how I'm living the day, what kind of situations I'm in. So whatever happens inside me is aligned to what happens outside me, then this is synchronicity. When I slow down, it's more easy to experience this. And because I like time, one of my passions is to reflect and to learn more about time. I'm not talking about the watch, I'm talking about the perception of time. And this is one of the things I've realized is that I may be like going by metro in the city of Barcelona, but inside I may be thinking of something different and in another place or time. And then I say, oh, it's already this station. Okay, I have to get out. Then I'm not in the same moment. You understand? It's not that I don't have to think anything else. Of course, I will have other things inside, but being aware of what's around me, being aware that I'm not traveling alone in that train. There are other people traveling with me, right? Do I at least acknowledge them, acknowledge their presence? Like I'm traveling with these people, I don't know about them, and I don't need to know about what's going on in them, but at least to be part of the present fully. I've seen from my experience that if I am inside me, living in the present, in the moment, inside and outside, then it's as if time could expand itself, as if 1 second is even more than 1 second. It's something to experience, really. And then I can be more open to see what life is requiring from me, rather than myself thinking I know what I need to do. In this openness, I am open also to see things in a different way. Connected with this, am I living my life, or am I being lived by my life? Does it make sense what I'm saying? If I am connected with the present, I'm fully living my life, right? Otherwise, it's as if situations just keep pushing me, or I am so attached to the social media that while watching what others are doing, my life is being lived. It's not easy to put words in this, but I want to give some thoughts about these common unaccepted addictions that are there nowadays. Because if I am addicted to social media, if any of you feel attracted too much, I mean, I know that everything is very useful and technology is there to serve us. I'm really convinced on this. But if more time than what would be considered the normal time or enough time, if more is consumed in that, then I am not really taking care of myself. And then that's the moment where my life is just being used in a way that perhaps after some months or years I may see, oh, but what am I doing? Is this what I want to do? But perhaps I'm already trapped in that. I'm saying this because just about 10 days ago, a friend of mine came to me saying, no, I didn't have time to do this. No, that I forgot about that. Things like that. And that person is not normally like that. I said, what's going on in you? And then she said, you know what? I'm so into this game. It was the game in her phone, that I'm trapped in this. And I said, but just disconnect this. And she said, I've done it several times. I've disconnected and then I connected that game again and then I'm trapped again. And then I said, but what are you doing? You are just wasting your time thinking and thinking about that. just slow down, and I invited her to breathe in and breathe out with me, just like a simple way to be connected with the present and just let the devices be there. I really feel that when I practice not only meditation, but when I reflect, or I like, as I said, journaling, I prefer doing with this in a paper. I may seem old-fashioned. I know I'm quite old-fashioned in all this technology, but for me, it's like nice to have nice writing, and then I underline that, and then I color that. I was saying this to a friend of mine, and he was saying to me, but you can also do that in a computer or in an iPad. I said, you know what? I don't want to. I know that at some moments I have to do that, but if it's for me, I prefer a nice notebook where I can sit and write, and and I'm saying this because all this is having a connection with the self. It's being more connected with me in the present. And one important thing that also happens in these magic moments of slowing down is that intuition is more awakened. When you, as I was saying, that perhaps you are not thinking of someone, and just suddenly that person comes into your mind. I'm sure it happens to you. And then you realize, oh yes, it was very important to call that person. And you just do it. And really it was created lots of benefit for that person, whatever it is. But this intuition, or you were thinking how to do this, how to do this, how to write this. And then you don't know how that idea came from, but yes, like that. And when that happens, when those ideas happen, I like to perhaps just note down one word, and that word will connect me with that idea. Another benefit that has been very useful to me is that when I slow down, you know what? I realize of my mistakes. Important is because it may be okay. It may not be something really serious, but there are those little tiny mistakes that otherwise I wouldn't pay attention to. I'm talking about, for example, not being kind enough to someone, or just give the message just like that. And no, it's not about the message to be given. It's about the person that will receive that message. Right? So, and I'm using this, I'm sending messages, but there are certain things that I prefer to talk to the person, not only sending audios and receiving audios and it goes like this. No, and when don't you think that it's quite different to just talk to the person, and then you can feel, you can connect with the feelings of that person or the emotions of that person just with a sentence. At least myself, I don't realize that. So acknowledge my mistakes, things that could have been done differently, and then developing a more compassionate and kind nature as a way to be kind to the self also, because kindness and compassion very often are connected with other people. But it's also good to see how compassionate I am with myself. How kind am I with myself? And then in this inner awareness, I realize that there are so many resources inside that can be used whatever they are needed. And then, as I was saying, I will restore or I will connect with my rhythm, this inner rhythm. And when I connect with that rhythm, I feel at peace with myself. And then things become more meaningful. Thoughts, words, actions, they become more meaningful when they are done from this inner world or this inner experience coming from within. Some practical tips also, I mean, more connected with the whatever is surrounding us. I've read something about walking barefoot. I don't know why that came into my device, and I read about it, and I can see the experience I've got about it. So connection with nature is very important. I may be at home and listening to a meditation or music when there is water and there is sounds of nature, and it's always nice. Yesterday here it was raining so heavily, so heavily. But you know, this when there is so much rain, this sound, it was really being surrounded by nature. I enjoyed that. I mean, it didn't last long, otherwise it would have been a disaster, but it was just like a summer rain and it was so good. So if when I am surrounded by nature, I feel so good, why I don't go to nature? Perhaps you do more often than what I do. But I'm discovering that it's not that difficult, and there might be a park near to your house. I've discovered like a forest. It's like a forest just 15 minutes from where I live, and I like going there. I like seeing the flowers. I mean, I can just go walking, but then I'm disconnected again. No, I want to see the flowers and this and the air. The sky today here after so much rain yesterday, it was so blue. It was such a beautiful sky today, almost all day. So just being aware of that connects with you, connects with what surrounds you. And this does not mean that I don't do things. Of course, there are many things to do. But then it's like coming from inside out. And I've in this practice I've seen that there is something I want to practice every now and then, and it's doing same thing in a different speed. Not always, I mean, normal. No, we live in a normal way. It's not that now we are, no, normally. But at some moment, just do that in a different speed. Like I was filling this glass of water. Okay, so can I do this slowly and appreciate the sound of the water when it falls to my glass? You know, these simple, tiny things, let me tell you, could seem quite strange only some years back. But now I appreciate these simple things that allow me to pay more attention to myself. And when I'm paying more attention to myself, I'm learning also how to pay more attention to people, to situations. That if I'm part of a meeting and I am there in that meeting, I am there only to give ideas to whatever is being said, or am I appreciating the qualities that everyone has? nowadays we are all quite used to these online meetings, right? I really prefer presential meetings, but somehow it's like this. And it's like inner practice that whomever is there, let me see them as someone that is going through different things. I don't know about all the different aspects about everyone's life, right? So, but just like sharing good wishes. The power of good wishes is very important. When someone is going through something, and in that situation, then you see that let me give best wishes to that person. I'm sure that you know someone that is going through a very severe illness, or has had a car accident, or has someone very close to that person has died, or different situations. And we just pause for a moment, just give good wishes to that person, that situation, right? And it's very nice to do that. Where those feelings come from? They come from within. If I'm just keep running and running here and there and everywhere, then yes, that person has had an accident. Oh, yes, yes, oh. And I keep going. No, that's not human. Excuse me, before anything else, we are people. Do we care for ourselves? Or we have reached to a moment where the action is more important than the person doing that action? It's simple, these simple things that come from within. Like when I'm going to the bus and I see this bus driver, and I can just go in, I can say good morning. I've seen how they are very happy that people say something to them. Actually, we wouldn't reach anywhere if it was not because of them, right? So just this appreciating nature, gratitude, it makes the world different. And at this moment in time, I think it's not only a question of it's nice. No, it's not about being nice or not. It's not about something healthy or not. Of course it is. But it's our responsibility, I think. The world needs vibrations full of love, vibrations full of peace, of patience, of gratitude, of respect. Where these qualities come from? All these qualities come from within. And if I only see life from here outside, I will not be aware of these things. But when I see things from my eyes and inside, I call it like that, from which perspective I am living. Meditation for me has given like the way of, like the importance of how do I want to live? How do I want to think even? And if I want to change, I can change, definitely. But if I'm seeing that, okay, everything will be fine, don't worry. And I mean, it's okay, it's like this, everything will be fine. But let's experience that in a practical way. Then when I start the day, what do I do? What do I do the first thing? Many people just go to the phone first thing in the day. How many more likes do I get? How many people has tried to connect with me during these hours? How many more emails do I have? then I feel valued because I've been remembered by so many. Isn't this crazy? Is this how I want to start the day? Or I just let my phone outside my room? This is something I've done. Normally that was my alarm clock. Now I have another alarm clock, those normal alarm clocks that they just do beep, beep, beep. And I prefer that because then I don't start the day running. It's not that it's like this always. I don't want to give this impression because it's not like this. There are still days where I find myself running and I find myself, but then at least I have the tools. And what is useful to me is try to see myself as if I was a third person, as if I was someone that was watching me walking, or was watching me dealing with someone, or and at some point I really have been quite embarrassed, to tell you the truth. And then I say, okay, breathe in, breathe out, let me connect again, let me go inside again. And then because of the practice, then again it's like, okay, yes, this chronicity that I was talking before, yes, now I am in this same space, inside and outside, and from there I can keep doing whatever I was doing. I can keep doing, but in a different way. And when we practice meditation, it's a very good tool to do this, to just being aware of the self. Like a good way to slow down. And it's not that, as some people have said to me, that, no, yes, I keep listening meditations when I'm doing this, when I'm doing that. That's okay if you are doing that besides the time to meditate and just doing nothing. This has been the key for me. I can keep doing or I can be. When I am meditating, I do nothing, but I allow myself to be. And this is what we can practice now. Just find a comfortable position and now just be with you. I will share some thoughts and you may want to follow them, and also some moments with silence that will allow us to really be in that inner space. Be aware of where you are now. Be aware of your body, seated, and try to relax the body. If you need to move a bit, just do it. And feel gratitude for yourself for allowing you to be here and now. And you will see how slowly you are slowing your rhythm, breathing, less thoughts. And this is why you feel more relaxed. creating a moment of harmony. A moment of harmony with yourself. You are allowing your mind, your brain, all your body to restore itself. Allowing you to be in the present, in this moment. And you are allowing you to experience peace within you. And this thought may be helpful to you. I am peace, and I feel peace. I am love, and I experience love. I'm connecting with my inner strength. And I discover that I am strong and full of energy. Let's be in silence together for a moment. Silence is the bridge to go within. Ask yourself, how are you now? How are you? Breathe in and breathe out and move a bit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You slowed down everything without without there being a bit of a crash, because it was like a fast slowdown. You really slowed us down systematically. So thank you. Number of questions have come in. One person is asking what to do with obsessive thoughts. Well, actually, a few people are asking what to do with obsessive thoughts. It may be to do with breathing, it may be to do with tasks. How do you switch tracks almost?
Yes, when that happens, it's as if those thoughts are more powerful than you. This is why you are giving them so much importance. And yes, I know how it feels, and what it has been useful to me is to write that down and to say, okay, whatever I has to do with that, I write it down and I put that paper outside. I mean, not close to me, like if, okay, now I am here, the situation is there, the thought is there, and try to do some even breathing exercise, or just say, okay, I love you, like that to the self. We are used perhaps to do that with other people. But do I really love myself? See the benefits and the damage that you are doing to yourself. Those thoughts are creating even illnesses in the future if you keep sustaining that. At the end of the day, it has to do with which kind of thoughts do you want to feed. And I know it's very easy to just say it like that, and in reality, it's not that easy. I'm fully accepting that. But just sit with yourself and see the damage you are doing to your own self. And that's not helping you at all. That's not helping you at all. Even if perhaps you want to be distracted from that, read something positive. If you have some books that have some positive affirmations, it may be useful to you. And read that aloud. Listen to you, how you give another kind of message to you. Just change the message. And then after a while, if that thought comes again, most probably would have come with less force. Some thoughts about it. Yes?
I guess the key there is really not just focusing on your breath, but actually focusing on loving yourself, because that's a much
Yes,
greater
exactly.
experience.
Loving the self and see, okay, that thing or that person may be very important. This is why I'm giving that so much importance, but I'm also important. I'm also important. And this listening it's like a key to listen to the self.
Wow. Okay, we may have to come back to this topic in a second. The next question is, what should we do if we're not satisfied with our present? You talked a lot about just coming back into the present moment or time, but what if your present is not satisfactory?
Mhm. Yes, that's a good question. I mean, to create these moments of connection, inner connection, that does not mean that I fully agree with whatever is happening around me. Okay, so there may be a very complex situation in relationships, for example, and my present, it's not what I would like to live. Okay, I understand that. But whatever I'm creating inside depends on me. It's very easy to say it's because of this situation that I feel so bad. Okay, now I can say that in a different way. I feel so bad because perhaps I've not learned the art of not accepting, or because I've not learned the art of feeling at peace with myself. I'm not strong enough. So this is why I don't have the strength to connect with that situation. You know, otherwise it's very easy to just complain and keep complaining. It's because of this, it's because of that. Okay, I understand that. But then, is there anything inside me that gives me peace? And again, I would say that when I am at peace with myself, then that peace and powerful vibrations inside may allow that situation to improve. This is something really important, that my own weakness, my own weak thoughts are weaken even more whatever is happening outside me. Right? So if I keep saying, oh, this person is like this person is like that, I'm strengthening that weakness in that person. Does that person have something positive to talk about? Even if it's something little, but I'm sure that person has something that I can connect, I can enter in that connection with him, with her, from that positive point of view. But yes, I think that it's no more time to keep complaining about the outside, but seeing what can I do inside. And not only inside, I may take some decisions. If I am in a job position that does not give me any happiness, can I look for another one? Can I look for a different job? I know that now jobs are not that easy and economical situation is as it is, but I don't need to be there all my life if I am not happy. So I may keep having that job, for example, but let me find something, let me train myself, let me take some courses or lessons so that I can get a better job, for example. So I also need to do things and take decisions. If I'm in a very toxic relationship, it's not that I can say, okay, I keep sending peace, that's okay. But I don't need to be there if I see how toxic that is to me. This is a whole issue in itself, toxic relationships. So yes, inner preparation, but then be more strong inside so that I can take some decisions that are not easy to take. Yes, there are many things happening. I acknowledge that.
Wow, that's quite a statement. But you started with saying not to complain about the external situation, but to acknowledge I haven't learned this, I don't have enough strength, etc. Could you unpick it just one step more for me? Because otherwise it sounds like I've stopped complaining about the work situation or the family situation or whatever the neighborhood situation or the world situation. I'm now focusing and complaining on at myself. So how do we not complain about ourselves, but take it one step further for ourselves?
Yes, yes. This is an issue. Yes. If I keep saying no, I'm weak, I'm like this, I'm like that. One of the things I've learned, thanks to meditation practice as a regular basis, is to see that there is a high potential inside me to change if I want to change. And I know, I mean, there are many more things I need to change in my life, in my personality. I'm fully aware of that. But I can tell you something. For example, I lacked, I was very shy. Very, very shy. It was like an illness, that kind of shyness I had when I was little. And that gave me so much trouble. I could not speak in front of 5 person. So I had to do something to overcome that. Otherwise, my life could have been a mess. So I said, okay, let me do this, let me do that, let me practice talking in front of, there are moments where perhaps you don't like doing things, but have to just improve in some areas. And also I would encourage you to see things that are connected to gratitude. For example, I appreciate, for example, if I cook well, okay? So yes, I appreciate I am a good cook, for example. Or when I talked to that person, I really gave the best of myself. Or so appreciate whatever is good in you instead of focusing on whatever needs to be different in you. Otherwise, you will always find a reason to complain about you. Always, because we are not perfect. So because we're not perfect, there is always someone that could complain about me, or I can complain about me. So try to see, I'm sure that in that situation, you can find something about you that gives you your singularity, your shining. Let's shine. Let's not be afraid to shine.
I love that. Let's not be afraid to shine. I can take that. Okay, this is the last question. I promise this will be the last question I put to you, but it's something that a couple of people are putting across. Excuse me. We're in a work situation, you know what you have to do, you know generally the tasks that need doing, and suddenly a task is asked of us which is on a very tight deadline. How do we stop our mind from speeding up or getting disturbed?
Yes, I've experienced that. And I think it's quite useful to say to my boss, for example, saying, okay, I have to do this, that, and now this extra thing that needs to be done for tomorrow. What do you want me to do first? So also accepting that there are some limits, like limitation of time. Because otherwise, if I keep adding pressure to myself, my mind will not be clear to do that. And now jobs are like that, deadlines are shorter and the amount of task is more, or there are maybe some colleagues that are sick and they don't come and you have to do your own work plus the work of the others. All this happens. And why not to say, okay, what are the priorities? And then according to the priorities, I will do my best. Otherwise, the situation is like this, like expressing. Expressing is not that because someone is just giving loads of things to me, I need to carry them all. I may not have the capacity to do that.
Again, being kind to yourself, allowing yourself to say what needs to be
Yes,
said out of
right.
respect,
Right.
not out of frustration. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
important.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Martha. It's been
Thank
absolutely
you.
delightful having
Thank
you.
you.
There's so many thank yous and gracias that have come through, but people have said it's been a real education this evening. But it's the kind of education that leaves you feeling empowered, not, oh my goodness, there's so much to do kind of thing. So thank you very much.